Okay, so we're just out the front of this piggery here. About 100 activists have gone inside to create awareness about what's going on in these factory farms here in the UK. We've got a bunch of people at the front here, and I'm about to cut to you now so you can see what's going on in there.
We've got over 90 people occupying the inside, and these are people from all walks of lives and in all locations. We have people all around the country.
Yeah, so superficially out the front here, this Sandilands Farms looks like a nice little white cottage, but out the back there, in their back garden, there's a massive factory farm full of suffering sows and dead piglets and, you know, pigs screaming and the smell of feces just pungent through the air in someone's back garden. And you wouldn't even guess it, like, by looking at this place. You know what I mean? UK farm. This is a factory farm. It should say Sandilands Factory Farm, you know, but it's just the illusion of humane farming in the UK. And anyway, let's just say it was a, high welfare farm. They all go to the slaughterhouse, gas chambered, stabbed in the jugular. So this is how they trick people. It's how they trick consumers. How does it make you feel that that's the kind of places where pork comes from?
Well, if it's legal to produce meat like that, then what, you know...
No, but how does it make you feel consuming at places like that?
Well, we're all hidden from it, aren't we? We're hidden from...
Yeah, we're hidden. But now that you're not, how does that make you feel, knowing that you're...
Nice. Yeah. I'd like to think anything I eat. You know, I'm not vegan. I can see you are. I'm not vegetarian.
I gave it away?
You know, and that's fine. You know. But,
I used to eat out of places like that, though, for many years.
What I do eat is produced responsibly, yeah. Be it crops or meat products. You know.
Or animals.
Yeah, I do. We have a responsibility.
We have a responsibility to act morally, ethically.
Well, we do for our, you know, it's all about money, isn't it, at the end of the day?
Yes, and our money funds it, doesn't it? So.
So Joey, there's quite a turnout here today. What's the message behind it?
The message is that these places operate in secrecy, okay? The public are funding a place that they have no idea what goes on in there. They're consuming products out of here. We're trying to bring what happens in here to the light, okay? So that the consumers understand that their money is funding something that they're probably morally against in their own heart. And the knock-on effect of this is we want to advocate for plant-based lifestyle, a vegan lifestyle. So essentially these places don't exist and animals are free. And, you know, we believe that the public are, you know, inherently good people and are against the abuse that goes into places like these. And we want them to act consistently with their own values.
Yeah, so why here? Why Sandilands?
No, this is just a standard representation of factory farming in the UK. I mean, even if this wasn't a factory farm and it was just, you know, a farm with green pastures, all those animals get loaded up on the same truck, go to the same slaughterhouse, get the same knife in their throat. So whether it's a green pasture or a factory farm, you know, obviously factory farms, there's a bit more cruelty in there, but, you know, the animals on the pastures get the same knife in their throat, so that's the message. We haven't been on camera together for a while.
It's been a wee while, hasn't it?
It has. What do you think about the farmer who was actually inside when the activists went in there, trying to justify what was going on in there?
They've already done a lot of damage. They've caused the death of at least 2 piglets, just for the fact that we have nice, quiet, well-run, calm farrowing rooms for our pigs. There's nothing wrong here at all. All they keep telling to me is that I'm a murderer because I'm producing pigs that are going to be eaten.
I mean, I think it makes sense why she would want to justify it if she feels that her financial revenue is at risk, and also the kind of the morality behind it and the reasoning behind it is being questioned. She's going to defend herself, but the extent to which she's done so is striking to me.
Yeah.
There's a dog breeding facility in here as well, and she was trying to tell us it's like a kennel, but it's not. And it's been revealed that it's a dog breeding, so she's breeding dogs to sell them on. She's breeding pigs to sell them for slaughter. And now she's saying activists are responsible for killing piglets, but the irony is the piglets are in the pens because of what she does.
Because they're going to be killed, aren't they?
Killed, so.
Our welfare standards are as good as absolutely anywhere. The pigs are our priority. Our farrowing house lady is absolutely distraught. She's lost piglets today that we would never lose. And all they turn around to me and say is, well, you'd have murdered them anyway in a few weeks' time. It's crazy. They've got no understand.
If activists go into a barn and then a mother pig crushes a piglet, which happens all the time, regardless of whether activists are there or not, for her to say, well, the activists are responsible for this is absolutely outrageous, because the reason they're there in the first place is because of what she does.
Exactly.
But the paradox and the irony almost seems completely lost on everyone.
It will.
How is that not obvious?
And the sad part about it is people will focus on the couple of pigs that have been harmed in the process of this activist event, and not the thousands and thousands of pigs that will be murdered out of this facility alone.
They're going to die anyway. And
Not just die, they're going to struggle in their own blood in the slaughterhouse. Yeah.
And so these piglets weren't killed because of the activists, they were killed because of the farming practices and the demand of the suppliers, or the consumers, I should say.
Yeah, and there's no room in these crates, so there's piglets all around them. These accidents are just bound to happen. I mean,
And they do, and it's widely recognised that there's constant casualties in farming scenarios. So there's probably bins full of dead bodies on this particular farm.
Yeah.
There is on most farms. So the idea that this is somehow an abnormality that's been caused by the activists is nothing. It's shady.
Yeah.
And this is part of the problem, isn't it? That what happens in these places is not transparent.
No.
And she's not saying, oh, well, this happens to pigs all the time. The activists have been here and it's happened again today. It's, this is a reality. Because that's what she should say. She says, oh, this is the activist's fault. No, this is what happens like day in, day out on farms across the country. Animals being killed, in accidents like that, or just generally, or being sent to slaughter to be killed consciously. It's just...
Yeah. And I find it quite insane that they feel like they are the victims. I mean, and I feel like she's playing the victim a lot in this situation, but which is really crazy to me that she doesn't even view those animals as victims at all.
No. They're in farrowing crates. They physically cannot turn around. She has a nice cottage to stay in. She can go wherever she wants. But she's the victim. Yeah. In what world, in what planet is she somehow a victim? Because, there's an inconvenience to her day. Her life's not a threat. Her safety is not a threat.
No.
This is an inconvenience that's going to last for a day, and then she's going to go back to the same job of killing animals or sending animals to be slaughtered, month after month after month. These pigs are the victims, and the animals across all farming systems, and indeed any system that exploits them, are the victims. And for the people to say that the people who profit off their exploitation to try and portray themselves as a victim it's disturbing.
Right? It's disturbing.
Do you respect them? These pigs.
You think putting a knife across an animal's throat to respect them?
Well, that's how much you know about it.
She's really just a symptom of the demand.
She is not the issue, so to speak. She is a part of the problem.
Part of the problem.
She is not the mechanism behind
the cause of the problem. I mean, this essentially in her back garden is her income.
Yes.
And the reason she's making an income from that is because of the consumer demand.
Right.
And so she feels attacked. Yes. She feels like she's being judged, and so she's playing the victim here. And it would be pretty, it must be pretty intense for her to have 100 activists in there with cameras.
So. There's no denying that.
But I think we need to make sure that the public know that this isn't okay.
No.
It is immoral, and we need to start undoing that conditioning. And sometimes it can take a bit of a shock factor to do that.
It's all about perspective, isn't it?
And
if she's lived her whole life thinking that she's somehow a victim or could be a victim in this scenario, it's about time she was forced to confront the absurdity of that belief. And sometimes you say it takes something uncomfortable to make you realise the insanity of what's going on. And she's probably not having a great day. But for all those pigs, this is their life. And it's a life of torture and horror. And one day of inconvenience for her does not even come close to being even comparable to what happens to animals in this country and across the whole world.
I agree, mate, and I think deep down she knows that, like deep down inside of her conscience, and she's just been so conditioned that she's just completely tucked it away. She could have been brought up in a farming family. This is just normal to her. But I think somewhere deep down that child inside of her knows this is wrong.
You'd hope so.
Yeah, you would hope so. And it's insane to try to justify something so obviously cruel, but...
It's crazy, isn't it?
It is.
It's just ridiculous. They call themselves animal rights, and they're the ones that have caused the deaths here today. It's crazy.
I think we should always give people benefit of the doubt. She's not intrinsically an evil person because of what she does, but there's no doubt that she commits bad behaviours. So benefit of the doubt says that maybe one day she'll wake up and she'll go, this was a terrible thing that I've been doing, and now I've been able to realise that. She might not, but it is crucial that we don't selectively say, well, this person's the issue and this farm's the problem. It's not. It's consumer demand, it's societal demands. That's the crux of the problem. And even as vegans, we have to be very careful not to point the blame at specific farms or people or practices. It's the systematic problem caused by the consumer that needs to be addressed.
And that can be an easy excuse for people to point the finger and go, oh my God, it's that farmer, that's cruel, and the other hand has a piece of bacon flesh in it.
Right.
So We want the public to be accountable, take responsibility, and know that the power is in their hands, and they're the ones putting these places into business.
Exactly. Most people say they're against factory farming, but most people are buying that. The people are saying, I'm against factory farming with a KFC in their hand.
Yeah.
It's about making that connection to realising that what you say and what you do are two things that are not in alignment. And
No.
part of today is helping raise awareness and hopefully making people realign their values with them words.
And that's all veganism is.
Absolutely.
It's really simple, logical consistency,
Yep.
aligning how you act on a day-to-day basis with your own values,
Yep.
and that we already hold, and that's it.
That's it. Simple. And that's
Really
what today's
simple.
about, making the obvious even more obvious, I guess.
There we go.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Cheers,
brother.
Joe, we appreciate
Thanks so
it.
much, brother.
Awesome.
So the activists should be coming out very soon. They have got the media coverage that they were looking for. The farmer has threatened to starve the pigs and to not give the pigs water, which is quite low, quite ridiculous as well. I mean, in the face of what they're facing anyway, it's really not a big deal. I don't even know why she's trying to emotionally leverage the activists with the welfare of the pigs like that when she's sending them to the slaughterhouse to be knifed in the neck anyway. I mean, just the prison farrowing sheds are horrible places. I've been in a few and they smell like death, and there's just piglets and suffering mothers everywhere in there. There's about 8 or 9 police vans here. The police are starting to kind of threaten the activists in a way. They're saying, if you don't get out soon, they're going to start arresting people, but they haven't yet. I think it might just be a bluff. So we've got some more police here. They're coming through the bushes here. They've got the place locked down all around the farm. The police have covered all the angles, making sure no activists leave, or probably making sure no activists run away with any animals.
She's looking for a hoodie.
Are they going to try to get someone out of there?
They're going to try, but it's in good health, but they just don't know where its mum is.
So apparently they're trying to negotiate to get some piglets out, sick and injured piglets. Hopefully the farmer obliges and we can rescue some animals, take them to a sanctuary, get them out of that hellhole before they get slaughtered. Here they are. Here's all the brave activists behind me.
We saw a piglet having a seizure and dying. There was another dead piglet. And they're just in there with all the other piglets. It's just beyond words. It's disgusting. And then there were dead piglets in a pile outside, and I'm just a bit numb of words at the moment, because it's just how that can be acceptable in society. It just shouldn't be acceptable, and that's why it's really important to share all of this footage and just get it out there so people know what they're contributing to. How can you consciously contribute to that, to animals, these beautiful animals being treated like that? It's just wrong. It's just wrong.
Everyone that's come here drives me with inspiration and emotion and drive to carry on and fight for the animals. People have come from different countries and all around this country to come today and stand in solidarity, stand united in unison for the animals, and show the world, show the country the plight, the suffering and the unnecessary killing that happens to these innocent animals.
As you have seen, we are not carrying any baby piglets in our arms. Police took the piglet by force. We can only say that what we saw on there will go viral. We will make this happen, and we will make everyone who we possibly can see the footage that we got today, which needs to be circulated. And without you guys, we could not have done that. We could not have ever given the animals that platform. So thank you again from the bottom of my heart.
In the eyes of the law, I mean, But in the eyes of like morality, like in the eyes of decency,